Imagine waking up one morning with a strange feeling that something is off. Your salary arrives exactly like it always does. The numbers look familiar and comforting at first glance. But deep down, something feels different. Something invisible has already changed. There was no email from your employer. No breaking news warning you about the change. No government announcement explaining what happened. Life seems completely normal on the surface. Yet a silent shift has already begun. You check your bank balance again just to be sure. Every digit looks exactly the same as yesterday. Nothing has disappeared from the account. But those numbers quietly lost their power overnight. Their meaning has changed without you noticing. Then you step outside into the real world. Prices feel different everywhere you look. Groceries cost more than last week. Fuel feels heavier on your wallet. Daily life suddenly feels more expensive. Food becomes a bigger monthly burden. Rent slowly creeps upward without mercy. Healthcare and education demand more every year. It feels like the walls are quietly closing in. The squeeze is slow but constant. Naturally, you start searching for someone to blame. Politicians speak confidently about growth and stability. News channels talk about strong economies. Everything sounds positive and reassuring. Yet none of them mention what you are losing. Because this isn't a normal tax you can see. It doesn't arrive as a bill in the mail. It doesn't appear as a deduction on paper. But it drains your wealth just the same. And it never asks for permission. You check your payslip again carefully. Everything looks clean and unchanged. No new deductions appear anywhere. Yet your paycheck buys less each month. The loss remains invisible. This loss doesn't happen overnight. It moves slowly and quietly through time. So quietly that most people never notice. Until one day life feels strangely expensive. By then, the damage is already done. This invisible force has a name economists use calmly. Governments defend it carefully in speeches and reports. But ordinary people experience it differently. To them, it feels like silent theft. This force is called inflation. To understand this hidden tax, we need to travel back in time. Not centuries ago, but just one generation. Ask your parents how much life used to cost. Their answers may sound unbelievable today. The past feels like a different economic universe. A house once cost a few years of salary. A single income could support an entire family. Owning a home felt normal and achievable. It was part of the expected life path. Stability felt reachable. University tuition was once affordable for ordinary families. Students didn't graduate buried in debt. Education felt like opportunity, not a financial gamble. The future looked promising and open. Groceries were simple and manageable expenses. A full shopping cart didn't feel like a luxury purchase. Weekly shopping rarely caused anxiety. Everyday living felt financially breathable. Now compare that world to today. Housing prices have surged far beyond wages. Buying a home feels like chasing a moving target. The dream keeps drifting further away. Education costs have exploded across the world. Student debt has become a defining feature of adulthood. Millions begin life already financially behind. The starting line keeps moving backward. Healthcare expenses continue rising year after year. Medical bills can reshape entire families' finances. One emergency can change everything. Security feels fragile. Yet governments often report inflation around 2 or 3%. A number that sounds small and harmless. Almost comforting when you hear it. But numbers can be misleading. Because inflation does not shock the economy overnight. It moves slowly through years and decades. The damage builds quietly in the background. Like rust spreading beneath paint. A few percent per year feels harmless. But over decades, the loss becomes enormous. The long-term impact is easy to underestimate. And that misunderstanding changes everything. Let's slow down and do the math together. Imagine inflation averaging just 3% per year. That sounds small and manageable. Almost harmless on paper. But time quietly magnifies small numbers. After 10 years, your money loses noticeable value. After 20 years, the loss becomes painful. After 30 years, the damage becomes shocking. Time turns small percentages into massive erosion. At 3% inflation, money loses more than half its power in a lifetime. Half of your savings quietly disappears. Not stolen in a robbery. Not lost in a crash. Just slowly dissolved by time. This changes how saving works forever. Keeping cash no longer guarantees safety. The old idea of saving slowly becomes outdated. Stability begins to feel uncertain. Saving money starts to feel like running on a treadmill. You are moving constantly but staying in the same place. Effort no longer guarantees progress. The race becomes exhausting. Imagine storing ice under the hot sun. At first, nothing seems wrong. Slowly, tiny drops begin to form. Eventually, the entire block disappears. This is what inflation does to cash. The longer you hold cash, the more it melts. Time becomes the enemy of savings. Patience no longer guarantees reward. The rules quietly changed. This is why older generations trusted savings accounts. Their money held value over time. Today that promise feels broken. Trust slowly fades. Interest rates once protected savers from inflation. Banks rewarded patience and discipline. Saving felt meaningful and safe. That era has quietly changed. Today, saving cash feels different. Interest rarely keeps up with rising prices. The safety of savings feels like an illusion. The hidden tax keeps growing. To truly understand inflation, we must understand money itself. Money feels simple because we use it every day. But its origins are deeply complex. Its story shapes the entire economy. Everything begins with what money actually is. Long ago, money was physical and scarce. Gold and silver were trusted across civilizations. They required effort to mine and refine. Their scarcity gave them value. Money was once tied to the real world. Gold could not be created instantly. It demanded labor, time, and resources. This natural limit protected its value. No one could create gold with a keyboard. Scarcity created trust. Imagine a small village using gold coins. Only 100 coins exist in total. Those coins represent all the money available. Everyone understands their limited supply. The system feels stable. As the village produces more food and goods, life improves. Productivity increases across the community. Yet prices remain stable. Because the money supply stays the same. Balance exists between money and goods. Now imagine the village leader secretly creates new coins. Suddenly there are 200 coins instead of 100. Nothing else has changed. But the balance is broken overnight. The system begins to shift. The village still produces the same goods. The same food, houses, and services exist. But now more money is chasing the same supply. The competition for goods increases. Prices begin to rise. At first, the change feels subtle. Only a few prices move slightly upward. Most villagers barely notice the shift. Life continues as usual on the surface. But the foundation has changed. Slowly, more prices begin to rise across the village. Bread costs more than last month. Tools cost more than last season. The pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The value of money begins to fall. This reveals a powerful truth about inflation. Prices are not rising randomly. Money itself is losing value. Inflation is the story of money becoming weaker. And that story continues today. Today, the village story has scaled to entire nations. Governments control modern money systems. Central banks manage the supply of money. Their decisions affect billions of lives. Yet most people rarely think about them. Central banks were created to stabilize economies. Their role sounds reassuring and protective. They aim to support growth and prevent collapse. Stability is their public mission. But their tools are powerful. One of their main tools is controlling interest rates. Lower rates encourage borrowing and spending. Higher rates slow the economy down. These decisions shape the pace of economic activity. Small changes ripple everywhere. But the most powerful tool is money creation. Central banks can create new money digitally. No mines, no factories, no physical limits. Just numbers added to financial systems. Modern money can appear instantly. This process is often called printing money. In reality, most money is never printed physically. It is created electronically with keystrokes. Quietly and quickly behind the scenes. Invisible to the public. Governments use new money to stimulate economies. Especially during recessions and crises. The goal is to prevent economic collapse. The intention often sounds noble. But every action has consequences. The world witnessed massive money creation after the 2008 crisis. Even more followed during the pandemic. Trillions of dollars entered the global economy. The financial system changed rapidly. History accelerated. These actions helped prevent deeper economic collapse. Markets recovered faster than expected. Financial systems stabilized in the short term. The rescue appeared successful. But hidden effects remained. Because new money does not appear evenly everywhere. It enters the economy through specific channels first. Banks, corporations, and financial markets receive it early. The effects spread slowly outward. And this is where the hidden tax truly begins. The order in which money spreads matters. Some receive the new money first. Others receive it last. And timing changes everything. When new money enters the economy, it doesn't reach everyone at once. Banks and corporations receive it first. They can invest, buy assets, and benefit before prices rise. Ordinary people only feel the effects later. Timing determines who gains and who loses. The first recipients can buy assets at old prices. Real estate, stocks, and commodities become bargains. They gain purchasing power while others are unaware. Wealth inequality quietly increases. Ordinary workers experience the change only after prices have risen. Their wages remain the same. Costs for essentials climb before their money grows. They are the last to benefit, if at all. This delay is called the Cantillon effect. Those closest to new money benefit most. Those farthest away suffer first from rising prices. Economic advantage is not evenly distributed. Asset prices rise quickly as the first recipients spend their new money. Real estate and stocks soar. Those holding cash or fixed income fall behind. Wealth concentrates at the top. Banks and corporations gain leverage and influence. They buy valuable assets at old prices. Ordinary citizens cannot compete. This creates an invisible transfer of wealth. When the broader public finally sees price increases, wages have not caught up. Essentials cost more, housing becomes less affordable. The hidden tax strikes the many to benefit the few. This process repeats every economic cycle. Trillions of dollars have entered modern economies this way. The pattern favors the first recipients consistently. Ordinary people experience only the delayed consequences. The wealthy become wealthier not by luck, but by position. Access and timing matter more than labor or merit. The rules of money are hidden in plain sight. Understanding this mechanism explains why inequality persists. Inflation is not just numbers on a screen. It is a hidden system favoring some and disadvantaging others. Awareness is the first step to protection. Inflation doesn't just affect banks and corporations, it affects daily life. Groceries cost more. Gas prices rise. Utilities climb. Ordinary people feel the pinch first. Your paycheck may stay the same, but the cost of essentials climbs steadily. Every month, your money buys slightly less. The changes are small at first. Over time, the cumulative effect becomes crushing. Food, housing, transportation, everything slowly gets more expensive. People adjust habits, cut luxuries, and sacrifice comfort. Stress silently grows. Life feels heavier without explanation. Even small savings lose power over time. $100 today buys less than it did last year. Your financial planning quietly erodes. And yet, no one announces this loss explicitly. Credit cards and loans feel convenient, but they hide subtle traps. Interest barely keeps up with inflation. Debt becomes a silent companion. You pay more without realizing why. Long-term savings like retirement accounts also take a hit. Returns may not match rising costs. The dream of a secure future slowly fades. Awareness becomes essential. Inflation affects the vulnerable most. Those with fixed income, students, or minimum wage earners feel pressure immediately. Small percentages translate into real struggles. Everyday life becomes a challenge. Even aspirational purchases feel distant. A car, a house, or higher education suddenly seems out of reach. Dreams slow down while costs accelerate. The invisible tax continues. Communities and neighborhoods experience inequality clearly. Some areas benefit first from new money, while others struggle with rising prices. Local economies diverge subtly but significantly. Understanding this helps explain frustration, stress, and inequality. Inflation isn't random. It's a system carefully influenced by money supply and timing. Awareness empowers decision-making. History is full of financial crises, each teaching a hidden lesson. From hyperinflation in Weimar Germany to the 2008 collapse, patterns repeat. Greed, mismanagement, and unchecked money supply often trigger disaster. Observing these patterns can reveal the invisible rules of money. In 1923, Germany experienced hyperinflation unlike anything before. A loaf of bread cost billions of marks. Savings evaporated overnight. Ordinary life became chaotic and desperate. Families who worked their entire lives lost everything. Pensions became worthless. People struggled for basic survival. Trust in the financial system collapsed. Fast forward to 2008, the global financial crisis struck suddenly. Banks collapsed, homes were foreclosed, and unemployment soared. Governments injected trillions to stabilize the system. Yet the hidden consequences lasted for years. Many ordinary citizens never recovered. Wealth concentrated among those who accessed bailouts first. The cycle of invisible advantage repeated. History shows who benefits and who pays the price. Inflation and crises are often intertwined. Sudden money injections stabilize markets temporarily. But over time, hidden effects ripple through society. Inequality worsens quietly. These events are not random. They reflect systemic rules of modern money. Timing, access, and control of resources determine outcomes. Knowing the patterns reveals the invisible tax at work. Lessons are often ignored until it's too late. People forget past mistakes. History repeats itself in cycles of boom and bust. Awareness becomes a rare but powerful tool. Understanding crises also explains everyday struggles. Rising prices, unaffordable homes, and stagnant wages are part of a broader story. They are echoes of systemic patterns. The lesson is clear: money is not neutral. It carries power, timing, and influence. Those who understand it gain advantage. Those who ignore it pay silently. Inflation quietly erodes the value of everyday money. Cash in your wallet or bank account loses purchasing power over time. What feels like safe money is slowly being taxed invisibly. Most people don't notice until it's too late. Essentials like groceries, gas, and rent rise consistently. Small increases compound over months and years. Ordinary households feel the pressure first. It's a hidden, relentless tax on everyday life. Savings accounts can't keep up. Even a modest balance slowly loses value. Your effort to save seems wasted. The system rewards those with early access to new money, not patient savers. Retirement funds, pensions, and long-term investments also feel the squeeze. Returns rarely match rising costs. Many people will find their planning insufficient decades later. Everyday decisions feel heavier. Should you buy, save, or invest? Inflation changes the rules subtly. Each choice carries hidden consequences. Awareness becomes essential. Debt can also mask the impact of inflation temporarily. Borrowers may feel relief when debt repayment is easier in real terms. But creditors and savers lose silently. The hidden tax spreads unequally. Prices don't rise evenly. Luxury items, essentials, and services increase at different rates. Families must navigate a complex web of rising costs. Subtle adjustments become a constant mental burden. Inflation also impacts lifestyle choices. Vacations, hobbies, and discretionary spending feel less attainable. Ordinary life starts to feel like a constant balancing act. Even small savings decisions can become critical. Choosing to hold cash versus investing can determine financial survival over decades. The invisible tax rewards foresight and punishes ignorance. Understanding the hidden tax of inflation changes everything. Awareness gives you the ability to protect wealth, plan strategically, and avoid silent losses. Knowledge is power in a world where money is constantly changing. Inflation doesn't affect everyone equally. Those with assets like real estate and stocks gain first. Those living paycheck to paycheck lose first. The invisible tax widens the gap quietly. Wealthy individuals can buy valuable assets before prices rise. They gain purchasing power while ordinary people struggle to keep up. Timing becomes a crucial advantage. Ordinary people see prices rise in groceries, housing, and utilities first. Wages lag behind, and savings erode. The financial burden falls disproportionately on the many. Over time, this creates a cycle of inequality. Wealth accumulates at the top while others struggle to maintain stability. The gap becomes structural, not just temporary. Governments and central banks often focus on stabilizing markets, not individuals. The first recipients of new money gain the most. Ordinary citizens bear the delayed consequences. The result is predictable: wealth concentrates at the top. Families without access to early money face long-term challenges. The invisible tax is not random, it is systemic. This hidden tax compounds over generations. Savings, inheritance, and opportunity are affected. The starting line is uneven for everyone. Even small advantages in timing or access accumulate. Investments compound faster for some and stagnate for others. Wealth inequality grows quietly but relentlessly. Everyday life reflects these gaps: better schools, safer neighborhoods, and easier access to loans. The invisible tax reshapes opportunity subtly but powerfully. Recognizing this hidden system is the first step toward protecting yourself. Awareness allows strategic action. Understanding the rules helps level the playing field. The hidden tax doesn't just affect money, it affects the mind. Constantly rising prices create stress, anxiety, and uncertainty. People start second-guessing financial decisions. Every purchase becomes a calculation. Emotional strain quietly grows. Financial stress impacts relationships, health, and daily life. Arguments about money increase. Sleep is disrupted. Confidence erodes as individuals feel powerless. Even careful planners feel frustrated. Inflation undermines careful budgeting. Savings goals seem unreachable. Future planning becomes mentally exhausting. Anxiety about money becomes a constant background stress. People feel trapped between earning and rising costs. Daily choices carry invisible pressure. Even success can feel hollow. Investments may grow, but essentials continue rising. People feel they're never truly ahead. The invisible tax erodes confidence and optimism. This stress can lead to impulsive decisions. Fear and urgency push people toward risky investments. Emotional reactions often outweigh rational planning. The hidden tax also shifts mindset toward short-term thinking. Long-term goals feel out of reach. People focus on surviving today rather than building wealth for tomorrow. Over time, financial stress can alter behavior. People may work longer hours, sacrifice hobbies, or delay life milestones. Emotional and mental costs are invisible but real. Families and communities feel the ripple effects. Stress spreads as households struggle to keep pace with rising costs. Social cohesion weakens subtly. Understanding the psychological impact is crucial. Awareness allows preparation, rational planning, and emotional resilience. Knowledge is the antidote to the invisible tax. After understanding the hidden tax, the picture becomes clear. Money is never neutral. Its timing, distribution, and control affect real lives. Awareness transforms confusion into insight. The wealthy and early recipients gain the most. Ordinary people often bear the hidden cost. Recognizing this helps you strategize. Knowledge gives power where money alone cannot. Personal finance becomes about more than saving, it's about understanding systems. Awareness allows smart investments, timing, and protection against invisible losses. Historical crises teach the same lesson repeatedly. Boom, bust, and inflation cycles favor those with access. Ordinary citizens often pay the price silently. Recognizing patterns prevents surprise. Inflation, debt, and money creation are not abstract, they impact everyday life. From groceries to housing, the effects are tangible. Understanding this transforms perspective. The hidden tax is subtle, persistent, and unavoidable without awareness. Knowledge is your best defense. Strategic planning becomes essential. By understanding money's flow, timing, and influence, you gain control. You no longer react blindly. You anticipate, adapt, and protect yourself. The system isn't inherently unfair, it's just complex. Those who learn its rules can navigate it successfully. Knowledge creates opportunity where luck might fail. Every decision matters, from saving and investing to understanding inflation and timing. Awareness is your shield. Preparation is your advantage. So ask yourself, are you paying the invisible tax without realizing it? The hidden rules of money affect everyone. Awareness is your first step toward freedom. What will you do next?